All right, ladies, thank you so much for jumping on. It is October the 19th, which is super exciting, but scary and crazy. It's just like the holidays are here. Like we blinked and we're already over halfway through the final quarter of the year. So it really is. It's truly mind blowing to me on how fast time is flying these days. So let me go ahead and pull up my PowerPoint, share screen, share, and then oh, not that one. Sorry, oh, where'd it go? Sorry, work with me, ladies. I'm trying to, that one. This is my old computer, so I'm working against all the technical difficulties tonight, but okay, there we go. Y'all can see that, correct? The PowerPoint. So let me know or type in the chat box and utilize that. So I really just wanted to take advantage of this season, this final push of the year, and just really just base our calls and our time together off of belief, you guys, because I feel like, especially coming out of last month, all of us kind of shared that common feeling that we were having. We were in a hard season. We were struggling just with all the worldly things we had going on. And then not to dismiss all the personal things we had going on top of that. So I think we all kind of felt the weight of that. And it was very hard coming out of a great high month with Team Cup. So I'm excited to be able to just push through that. And I want to talk about that tonight as leaning into those failures and how we view them and the difference that can and will make in our mindset, our life, and our business, and just everything in life. So using failure as fuel is what I titled this call tonight. So before we dig into that, just a few quick announcements. So a lot of announcements, but if you didn't get to listen to the National Wake Up Call today, here's a quick recap of those. As you all know, the 30-day breakaway for customer launch launched today. So remember, anybody, coach, customer who participates in this, they can submit their 5K picture with, I don't know if they have the time or whatnot. I haven't looked in the complete details. That's all in the FAQ. Once they submit their results, their before and afters, and they can get a medal. You can even print off a bib to run your 5K, whether that's a virtual one or if there's one in person where you are. And then, Beachbody's having the ones that's supporting homelessness, which is really cool, but anything that's near and dear to your heart, I recommend. And then, so you're going to receive that 5K medal in addition to a shirt, I do believe. Again, mark your calendars for next month. So 3 weeks out from our next virtual super weekend event. So it's a Saturday on the 7th. They're doing it based off your geographic location. So there's 9 different areas that will be doing this. So I know, as always, they're going to go above and beyond. So I highly recommend taking 2 to 3 hours on your Saturday morning on the 7th and making time to be there virtually. Anyways, there's perks to the virtual stuff and get to stay in your pajamas and, not have to commute, and saves time and money. But I know nothing's like being together in person, but it's always amazing. Update to the genealogy time allowance. I wanted to make sure that you guys saw that starting today. I know many of you we've talked about this before, and that is maybe somebody had recently signed up as a coach, or say I'm trying to sign somebody up under a different business center, or my husband's account, or my mom's account. Well, it used to only be 5 days that you could make that placement change from coach to coach. But now they upped that to 10 days to where you can change that. Also, kind of compounding off of that, I know I'm skipping one in the middle, but the preferred placement change. So that's saying you want somebody up as a coach, but they fell under your left leg and you want them under your right for, cycle bonus purposes or rank advancement purposes. So they've changed the look and the layout of that. And they broke it down in more detail, actually, in the Coach Breaking News. So your automatic is what it's probably going to default to initially. And that's really cool because it's going to alternate your left and the right, which is what's going to get you to that emerald base rank. But then from there, you can get to more specific onto where you want it, your left outside leg or your right outside, or I can even, get more specific and plug, hey, I want it under this CVC, under this leg, so that again, you're double dipping and maximizing on an income potential. So those are some changes that I feel we all should be in the know about. Bod groups updates, they're constantly making those, which is like so hard for my non-tech savvy brain, but it's a blessing all in disguise because they're just making this better and better and better. So you can actually like remove yourself from groups now. You can easily, if somebody's an admin and they want to step down, you can just take that admin title off of there. But there's also like you can send like it's a bunch of stuff. So be sure to check out all those updates on the bod groups. A few more I was trying to see. Reject. You can reject join requests now instead of just leaving it there as pending. Join request emails to specific coach. You can get additional notifications now. So like say a group starting today, and maybe yesterday you were plugged in, it's kind of give you a prompt as a reminder to let you know that that group. So lots of big things there. Final two is getting ready for 9-week Control Freak. I feel like this is going to be a very big launch. Autumns always are. And it's just going to be a more intense program. So for coaches, that is December 7th that we can get signed up for that. I love, as always, that we have that 2-week window to where coaches can familiarize ourselves with the workouts, the nutrition plans, and all the craziness that it comes with. And then the 21st, just in time for Christmas, people can reward themselves with joining in with that as a regular customer. But hopefully I want to strongly encourage you guys, and we will talk about this more and more as we get closer and closer, take advantage of these VIP launch periods to where you're advertising that, you're sharing that, and all the perks that come along with being a coach, even if they're not ready to build the business, but just being in a group with Autumn herself, the extra accountability to themselves, the early access, and there's just, it's truly an incredible opportunity to take advantage of. And then, of course, Let's Get Up with Shanti is coming in the spring. So recognition for October thus far is myself, Donna, and Monica are on the board. Monica has blown it up today with getting those customers started with the breakaway. So that's awesome to see. Good job, ladies. Can't wait to see more and more. So let's dive into the content as we're already 10 minutes in. So you guys, let's just be real and honest with ourselves and with each other as we dig deep into this tonight. So real talk, we have all had those times, Lord knows I have, I feel like more times than not, that we just feel like a total failure. Like, which then is just that ugly ripple compound effect that it's like, we just feel discouraged and defeated, and we just beat ourselves up and we just wear ourselves down. And when we get like that, what do? We go off into our little hole by ourselves, and we, hold all those emotions into ourselves, which is the easy thing to do. But what does it do to us overall? It only makes things so much worse, you guys, because it's easy just to give up, retract, and just stop pushing ourselves because it's so darn uncomfortable. So instead of pushing ourselves, we allow that self-doubt, that fear, that disbelief, it just creeps in and it consumes our total well-being. And in doing that, we become so fixated on the negative view of failure. However, I just want to use this time tonight to shed that light on how we can simply just flip the switch and turn that around to shed the light on what those failures are ultimately doing for us. And I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not bypassing the fact that facing failure is freaking hard and straight sucks sometimes, but I'm letting us know there is a better way. We don't have to just settle for the suckiness, but we can use it to better ourselves along the way. So I just kind of wanted to give an old story of just where I've been in my business at one point. Again, this is a constant journey for every single one of us, you guys. And I think it's so important, and probably something that we don't talk about enough, that even at 6 years in, like, I constantly am struggling, with my own inner demons, with the comparison game, and all those things that even as general as women, and I'm a naturally anxious heart type person, I get so caught up in those things. But then when I just, we have that instant gratification, just normally it's embedded in our human little souls that we want something now. And, when we don't see that, especially when we're showing up and putting in the work, it's so easy to just be like, well, it's just not for me. It's just not meant to be. But I wanted to share this story. So when I first started, my coaching journey, I was different than most people. Most people do start this, as discounts. They want to save money. They love the community and the accountability. And don't get me wrong, I loved and appreciated all those things. But I was so ready for just an overhaul of my complete life and to not be so burnt out, working tired, long, 16-hour shifts at the hospital, bypassing, not getting any time with Jordan, and it would just cause so much stress in my life overall. And to still just be struggling financially, I just felt like, oh my gosh, I'm fighting a losing battle. So when I first started my coaching journey, I went all in with the business, and I was like, I had big income goals, big rank goals. I'm just y'all know I'm a very type A competitive person. So I'm always pushing for those things. So I started September of 14. So 15 was like, my first full year, and I was just balls to the wall, and I went to my first summit in June or July that year. So less than a year in. But it was truly incredible because I got to go to this elite and premier party, and it was just incredible to be, because hopefully you guys, if you've never been to Summit, put that on your vision board, make it a non-negotiable for 2021, because us being together in person, it's a long, tireless weekend. Well, you're on such a high for those 4 days, but then after, you literally need a day or two just to decompress and refuel. But it's just truly incredible because I love these calls are everything, but being together in person is so life-giving. And then getting to be a part of this and earning these type of parties, it just being around all these top coaches that you hear on all these calls and watching on YouTube all the time, it was just like, holy crap, is this even real life? It's just being surrounded by that, and you're like, this just fuels my soul. I love this. And I was like, I have to make this an every year thing, a reoccurring thing, because I love being here. I felt so fulfilled. It was just, I felt so purposeful. Well, to make a long story short, I came out of that just so much momentum, so much drive. And I think the team at the time felt that, and they were on a high too, because you guys know, this more momentum we have together, heck, when I see you guys fighting, it makes me push harder, and it's just it's contagious having that momentum. And it was great. Well, we got to 17. I think it was 17. I try to leave that kind of a blur. It just was a really, really hard year when everything I had built up as our team, just kind of crumbled. And, all the diamonds that we had formed, they all quit or left. And it was just it was like a dagger. And I took it very hard. I took it personal when I shouldn't have. I wish I didn't. I'm just that type of person. I carry my heart on my sleeve. And so, of course, all of these negative emotions and thoughts just came flooding in and consumed me. Am I even cut out for this? You weren't created to be a leader. Nobody cares what you have to say. Just stop, and I had all of these emotions that none were good. So I felt unworthy. Again, started believing I wasn't meant to be a leader, or even doubting myself as a coach. Felt stupid for even trying. I felt like a complete failure, and I was drowning in those emotions to where I was close to giving up, and I'm the type of I'm an all or nothing person, and I was just I don't know what to do. And so the easy thing for me to do was to just give up, because I felt embarrassed. It was hard. It was uncomfortable. Nothing about it was fun or glamorous. It was straight hard, straight up. Okay. So again, I knew I had that in the back of my head. I knew, if I wanted to go back to nursing, I totally could, and make somewhat, and that was stable for me, because I would know the amount of hours I would work. I could always work extra to know that I would be making an extra income. I knew what my bi-weekly checks were going to look like, and overall, there wasn't that many risks involved. I mean, yeah, nursing comes with people's lives in your hands, but other than that, I knew that I went to school for that, spent years, so I was confident in my abilities, and I knew what to expect with that. So it was like, do I go back to what's comfortable? You know, it was secure, it was safe. I didn't have to push myself outside of my comfort zone. And it was just, so it was kind of that battle back and forth and back and forth. And then I realized, you know, what I was feeling was exactly that. It was a feeling, it was an emotion. And I was letting that feeling take control of my every thought and attitude. I was allowing that feeling to persuade me to want to try to give up. I was letting that feeling tell me that I wasn't good enough and that I wasn't worthy. And I had been there. I'd spent years of my life before that, you know, just battling anxiety and depression. And I felt like I was giving in to that feeling power and let it consume me and steal and rob my purpose and my joy all over again. So I had to decide, like, what am I willing to do? What is it that I'm here? What is it that I'm really fighting for? So instead of deeming this emotion or this feeling as something negative, why not use that as a turning point? Why not use it as a chance and an opportunity to prove to ourselves that no matter how hard it gets, no matter how big or how hard the obstacle, if somebody, there's no doubt, has gone before us and paved the way, they've made it through, so why can't we? You know, it's not always about skill set. It's about heart and grit and determination. And we have to dig deep and find that for ourselves, because it's there in every single one of us. But so oftentimes we're so caught up in the emotions and the feelings that we fail to just really take that outsider's perspective. So what if I make this feeling the reason I'm determined to succeed no matter what? So again, failure is scary. It sucks. It's uncomfortable. And it even feels like the end of the world sometimes. But you guys, at the end of the day, it's not. Truth is, just none of us like to feel uncomfortable because it's hard. It's so much easier to live a safer life without the risk because it is so comfortable. We all ultimately know that that's not where we're going to find ultimate success. It's not coming from that little comfort zone. Yeah, we might see some. That's great. But ultimately, if we just continue to stay there, we're never going to experience the growth that we ultimately desire deep down. And the sad part is, it's those things that we oftentimes allow ourselves to fall back to and get comfortable with. Like, we don't even find fulfillment in that. It's not even purposeful or joy-driven. But we do it because it's so much easier than facing those failures and the rejections and just all the unknowns that slap us in the face left and right with this opportunity. Again, the failures, that's what we grow through. Every failure adds up to something, you guys. And we like to make it this big scary bear in our head that, like, failure after failure after failure is just one massive, fat, big, ugly failure, like, overall. When in reality, that's not the truth. And we have to be brutally honest with ourselves and knowing that it's those failures that make us who we are today. Like, if you can look back now at what you've faced and know, like, holy crap, I grew from that. Look what you've learned and how I've overcome that. Like, it's going to add up to the dream life that you desire to live and who you're constantly fighting to become. Like, you aren't you. Like, I guarantee you, like, your message right now that you're telling isn't typically about all the things that that became so easy and you didn't have to fight for in your life. Like, to me, my philosophy in life is the harder the fight, the sweeter the victory. Like, I love that. Like, I love being able to share my journey, like, with our infertility and our adoption and how it's grown us and molded us. It pure sucked for 5 years of going through all the things with little, even at times, just never understanding, like, where am I going? Who am I becoming in this process? But it's formed me to who I am today. And I have no doubt in my head that, like, it's even now more with the kids. Like, if I was working those long hours and never home and present and missing out on all the things, like, that just breaks my heart. It puts my stomach in knots just thinking about it. So I know that everything was strategically placed and lined up to build my character and make sure that I was mentally ready for what was to come. and now the life that we live. Because if I would have given up, or if it wouldn't have been hard, I wouldn't appreciate the fight or the grit and the sacrifice that it's taken to get me to where I am today. And it's still, I'm constantly facing that and growing from that day in and day out. So how do we overcome these feelings and these negative emotions that so often consume us and rob us of our joy and our purpose? We have to ask ourselves, why is this happening for me? We always tend to play that victim card and like, why me? Why is this happening to me? She's got it so easy. Oh, she doesn't understand. It's so much, it comes so easy for her. When really, we for one, we have to stop that comparison. We never know ultimately the full story of what somebody else is going through. And when we're doing that, we're only limiting ourselves of our own joy and our own purpose of what it is that we're fighting for. So we have to like pull ourselves back, take that outsider's perspective, and reevaluate our own lives, and not just getting so caught up in the why me, poor pitiful me, like pity party that we throw for ourselves. Now, we're women, we're emotional anyways. Like, give yourselves 5 minutes, and then we have to give ourselves that tough love. Okay, snap it, let's get it back together. Because we have to stop being so problem oriented and become solution oriented. When we're so fixated on the problem itself, ultimately we're only ending up creating that much more problems over time. So our brains are wired. They like to answer the questions that we're constantly asking ourselves. So if we're constantly like, why me? Poor bit of like, why is this happening? Like, change that. You know, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I improve? How can I ensure that this never happens again? What can I do differently next time? It's all in the wording of those questions that we're asking ourselves that is going to change the trajectory of, are we going to like retreat and fall back? Or are we going to get up, brush off our knees and be like, okay, that sucked. That was hard. Let's not do that again. So what am I going to do better? What am I going to do differently to ensure that doesn't happen? It's easy to blame others for our lack of success over taking ownership, especially, you know, just in all the things. It's so easy to point the finger. And I love the little, you know, as kids, you can oftentimes remember, like, the second you're pointing at somebody else, like, remember, those other fingers are all pointing right back at you. Like, it's ultimately, it comes down to us. We choose who we surround ourselves to. We choose what we allow ourselves to read on social media and listen to and watch on TV. All of those things that seem so minor and minute and seem to have no problem, they do. They are all of those little seeds that we're allowing to come in and plant day in and day out. That's how we're learning to respond and to react to different situations. And again, it just goes back to one of our main vital behaviors. There's only 4 of those bad boys. One of them is being personal development. And I know so many of you are like me, like, we're busy. Most all of us don't have time, or we're not willing to make the time, or we just don't like to sit down and be still and read. And you guys, but and if that's you, then by all means, take advantage of the audio. That is my life story now. Like, I can't tell you the last time I've sit down to try to read a book. But if I'm, you know, taking a shower, doing my makeup, you know, brushing my teeth, using the bathroom, cooking, driving, those are the perfect times to make sure that we're being intentional with fueling in the background. It doesn't matter if you've got kids hollering or you feel like your mind's in 20 different places. I promise you, that stuff just replaying in your head is going to make an impact. So just being intentional with those small steps over time and just taking ownership for the things that we can do to control how we're responding to all that's happening around us. Feelings change. They are temporary, and truly we should embrace them for the opportunity that they are to regain control of the situation. And again, you guys, what a freaking blessing it is to ultimately know we're not alone. I think so oftentimes we allow ourselves to feel alone. Again, whether it be, I'm the only one going through this, no one understands how I'm feeling, what I'm going through, where I'm coming from. You guys, that's the fabricated truth that we like to tell ourselves, because somebody somewhere has gone through it. You know, whether it's all loss or, you know, the depression or, you know, just all these yearnings for all these things. Like, we all face our own hurts and our failures and fears. And it's such a beautiful thing when we are able, like, I've had people message me before and they'll say, I'm struggling with this, help me with this, blah, blah, blah. And they'll just kind of like let their feelings off their chest. And then they'll turn around and be like, I'm so sorry for unloading. And I'm like, for one, please never apologize for that. Because one, I appreciate you trusting and confiding in me. But two, I promise you're going to feel so empowered by just getting those feelings and those emotions off of your chest. To just know that whether if I say nothing or not, just be a listening ear to know that, okay, I'm not alone in this journey. And I do have people in my corner. And our team, like, that's what we're here for. Like, these calls, the events, the super weekends, the summit, all those things are just fuel to our fire that we have to make sure that we're being so intentional and making a priority for our own well-being, mostly mental and emotional. But what happens when that high wears off, that momentum wears off, and you're sitting in your office by yourself, no one's around, you're not feeling motivated, what really happens then? Are you leaning into your team or your success partner and be like, look, I'm really struggling, I need you to just kick me where it hurts and just make me grow and make me do the work that I'm not feeling like doing. Remind me why it is that I'm here and what it is that I'm fighting for, because I'm just feeling so burnt out and so overwhelmed. Or are we taking the easy road out and be like, you know what? I don't feel like it, and tomorrow's a new day. Like, I want us to all feel the same on a October Sunday night. I was thinking about this last night. I was trying to play catch up for the week and just playing. And like, as we do on January 1, when we're like, it's a freaking new year. I got these massive, scary freaking goals. I'm on this high because I know it's a new beginning and I'm ready to conquer the world. You know how we feel that? But now we're into the last quarter. We've had a crazy year, unlike any other. Maybe we're nowhere close to reaching our goals. You guys, the clock hasn't struck midnight. It is not the end of the year. And I want us to refine that same fuel, that same passion, that same why power that we started with at the beginning of January 1, 2020, before all the crazy slapped us in the face, because it's still there deep down and we just have to freaking find it. It just takes some peeling back some layers, showing up, sharing, having that accountability, sharing the stuff, and being like, look, this is ugly right now, but this is how I'm going to grow through it. This is what I'm going to change up to, like, do it better next time. Own your struggles. Use those setbacks as motivation to keep propelling yourself forward. Every single struggle, every single failure, every negative emotion that you have felt, you must know that others have experienced it and pushed past it. They have paved the way, so why not you? I promise you, no one is better than you. No one is more capable than you. Like, you are you. You are here for a reason. And I hope that we all know that even on those days where we just don't see it or feel it, like, know you're worthy. Know that you are capable. Know that you are more than enough, that you were made for more. But it comes down to you just, gritting your teeth, getting pissed off sometimes, and just using that as freaking fuel to keep fighting for more. If you can't do it for yourself in that moment, think of who is watching you. What little eyes, what spouse, what parents need you to be there and provide for them. Every single one of us have people that need us and are counting on us every single day. And we want to give them our best selves, right? So why? We know ultimately we're never going to do that until we take care of our own self first. It has to start with pouring into our own self-love. Like, people all the time, and I've gotten to where I don't take no for an answer, because I understand people are busy. They're falling upon hard times. Who isn't? But that's even more of a reason to lean in, make your health and well-being a priority, be a part of a community that's going to uplift, encourage, inspire you to keep fighting, to keep pushing when the world just comes crashing down around you, but you're still able to stand tall and stand with your head high because you have a sense of purpose. And that's what we are here together for. there is another side, you guys. There is light at the end of the tunnel. It may be dark, it may be narrow, and it may just be that little bitty glimpse that you're seeing, one little step. That's okay. Focus on that step that's propelling you forward. This is not, I can be the first to tell you, it is not an instant gratification business. Like I said, I've been here for 6 years and I'm nowhere close to where I want to be. But I have to stay focused on the fact that I'm light years away from where I first started. And that is what I'm grateful for. That is what keeps me going, even when I'm like, why am I not further along? You know, why are we not an elite team right now? Why do I not have all these big business builders, you know, that are of leaders on our team? But that's okay, because I know my purpose and I know that I'm going to continue to keep showing up and keep fighting every single day. And I'm fixated on those positives, or when I'm not and those negative emotions come creeping in, I can rein it back in and be like, okay, remember what you told yourself, and writing down those sticky notes, having that vision board that I'm constantly being forced to and looking at and rereading day in and day out. This is just one chapter. This month, this year, is just one chapter. It doesn't have to end if you do not want it to. You ultimately get to choose your ending. What a beautiful thing is that? So what if you have a volume 2, a volume 3, a volume 4? Like, that just makes it that much better. It just makes people want to keep reading. That's why you breadcrumbing and sharing and sprinkling your story every single day. Like, let them know, like, I'm still here. I'm human. I have my failures just like everybody else, but I'm still fighting. I'm still pushing. I'm here for you. If anybody else like is struggling to, know that you're not alone. And we have the opportunity to share that. It's going, I put it may be hard, scratch it. It's going to be hard, you guys. It's going to be. And that's, again, why we're going to need a lot of mindset shifts along the way, to just constantly give ourselves that time and that moment to like refocus, regain our thoughts, and remember what it is that we're here for. So one day you're going to have the chance to share your struggles with your team, your downline, as you continue to grow. Heck, your family, include them as a part of this. And it's going to, one day you're going to look back and I hope it's just going to be laughable at what you went through and be like, you're not going to believe this. But hey, this is what we overcome along the way. Right now, it may be hard. You may be right in the middle of it. You might be coming out of it, or you might be approaching that. So wherever you are, you're at one of those three. Use those failures as fuel. Make it your turning point. Choose to rise above those obstacles and just be the best version of you. I don't know, was it the call today or one of the other calls, just talking about stop trying to be version 2.0, or it was the call from last week that I asked you guys to listen to. Like, stop trying to be a version 2.0 of someone else, because ultimately that you're never going to reach the ultimate success, and you're never going to feel the fulfillment if you're just constantly, you're seeing somebody else doing something and they look like they got it all polished and perfect and got their ish together, but then you do it and it's just not real. It's not genuine or authentic to who you are, and it doesn't work that way. Yes, but when you're real and you can be vulnerable, like, that's what people are going to appreciate. They're going to feel that, and they're going to know that, and they're going to know, they're going to feel the emotion, and that's what changes lives. Not when we're just sharing about products, but what those products and those programs and this opportunity have ultimately done for us, and we're able to make that emotional connection. That's when the game changes. So that's all I got on this. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the share and stop